Good morning, guys. I hope you guys be blessed today. And I thank God for allowing us to see another day that we haven't seen before, breathing life into us again. I have a message, and the message is so simple. For those of you who are Christians, get out of your churches that you're dying in, especially those churches that have taken the 501c3 tax write-off. The reason why I'm saying it is because the churches, which are most of the churches now, that have taken that tax write-off, there's a clause in that write-off that said that you cannot say everything. So basically, you are in these churches and the pastor can't really preach against sin. Pastors are leading you to hell and destruction because a lot of churches today are listening to the feel-good messages, the feel-good preachings. Everybody's teaching about the love of God, but nobody's talking about the wrath of God. Or you're preaching the money out of people's pockets. Manipulating scriptures. Oh, if you do this, if you give that, God will open up a window and pour you out a blessing. You won't have room enough to contain it. Or when it's time for the 10%, you go into the book of Malachi. Will a man rob God? No, but man will rob man. And that's what these pimping pastors have been doing for years. In the days of old, when Christ walked the earth, tithe was not money. What money did they have to tithe with? Tithing was time, talent, food, and clothing. That's what tithing were. I know that all these churches are being built up every day. But the word of God says that the Lord is not in any temple that man built. This is the temple that God dwells in, if you accepted him. He said that you are the church. So when Christ comes back, he's coming back for you. So all you pastors that are not doing right and not preaching the word of God, God is not there. He said he's not in any temple that man built. You're sitting over there with this watered down message. Because if you speak the truth, you could probably lose funding from the 501c3, from the nonprofit organizations. Or you're afraid that you can lose members and that's money also going out the window. The word of God has become a hustle. The churches are so corporate now. It's a mess. The word of God says where 2 or 3 are gathered, I am there. So basically, if my husband is worshiping the Lord, my children are worshiping the Lord, that's more than 2 or 3. So he's there. He's in the midst. I'm not trying to discourage people from going to church. I'm not, because he does say to fail not to assemble yourself. But when he said fail not to assemble yourself, he didn't say fail not to assemble yourself in church. He said to fail not to assemble yourself with one another. So basically, you need to be with like-minded people like yourself. Being friends with people who have the same like mind as yourself, worshiping the same God, so you can help each other. Like my mother and I, when God has her at her high, I'm not there. So then she can help me, when I'm feeling low, she can help me quote some scriptures, or my husband can help me. And then I'm back to being okay. And vice versa. When she's at a low, I'm right there to encourage her. So that's failing not to assemble yourself with one another. These churches have been getting over for years. The word of God is free. So why are you clowns running up as soon as you hear something that feels good, throwing money at the pulpit? It's time for you to stop all this foolishness and get in your word, because time is drawing nigh. Time is drawing nigh. Seriously, the Lord is coming back. Look at what's going on around the world. He said in the last days there was going to be wars and rumors of wars. And this is what's happening. The prophecies of the Word of God is fulfilling itself. Get yourselves together, guys. Get yourself together. Stop being in these churches that's not speaking against sin. A lot of you are in sexual sins. A lot of you are committing adultery or in marrying 50 million times under the same church. God isn't pleased with none of this. You might say, well, times have changed, but the Word of God changes not. It's not going to change. And especially these preachers, they're not preaching the Word of God in and out of season. You know, you want to change with the times, but God's Word never changed. You might change and manipulate the scriptures for your own comfort. And there are a couple of Bibles, I think it's the NIV, that a couple of passages of the scriptures are missing. You workers of iniquity. You workers of iniquity. Get yourself right with God. Ask God what you need to do for Him to come into your life, because His Spirit is not going to dwell here always. That's all I had to say. Be blessed, guys. Have a wonderful day.